We're live.
You told Jeff. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Councillors,
Graham.
the meeting started.
Well, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to our Finance and General Purposes Committee meeting. Before we go on to the agenda, some of you have only recently just joined us, so I need to obviously go through the fire regulations and things like that. Basically, I can also confirm that the meeting is being live streamed to the public via YouTube. I would like to remind everyone in the meeting that the meeting should be conducted in accordance with our standing orders. We welcome public participation during the designated items on the agenda, for which you should have, all the speakers have already been booked, and obviously we look forward to hearing from you. I would like to point out the exits is where you came in, obviously back down the stairs, out through the doors you came in, and our assembly point is outside the takeaway Chinese. Can I please ask all councillors to confirm that they have received the documentation required to consider all the agenda items, and I confirm that all the papers have been circulated with the agenda items. Thank you very much. I would also like to welcome two new councillors, Councillor Potts and Councillor Brealey, who are not on this committee actually at the moment, but are here as observers, and as they were already here for a previous meeting, we're happy for them to take part.
Not take part. Just sit there.
Yeah. I'll slightly amend that, just to sit and listen. Yes.
It might be worth mentioning Councillor French as well, because
Yes.
she's still here as well.
Is she?
Yeah, just in the back.
Oh, you're on the back. And sorry, Councillor French, I thought you'd gone home. You're sitting at the back, and obviously welcome, and it's good for you to listen into this as well. Thank you. Okay. Right. First of all, the first item is apologies of absence.
None. I think. Yeah.
Excellent. Good. And with the items that are on the agenda, please, I ask all councillors, have you got any declarations of interest to declare as per the agenda?
Item 1, public question time.
Okay, yeah, I'll do that. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, I've got a disclosable interest in one of the charity ones, which is item 11.3, which is Southwater Bowls Club, because they're part of the organisation at the Guild Charity, and we support them. I also have something to do with the Air Ambulance Charity in Sussex, so I'll declare an interest on those, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Councillor Watkins. It's the same reason.
Same to me as well, Chairman.
Thank you.
Same for me as well.
And Councillor Knott as well.
Not the air ambulance.
Yes.
Not.
Okay. Right, public question time. This is normally set to 15 minutes in total. All residents wishing to speak must make their names known to the Executive Officer at least 24 hours before, which I know some of you have. Those wishing to speak will be given priority in terms of total number of members of public requesting to attend. Thank you.
So, did you want to mention that you're going to move the items?
Yes, yeah. Now, you'll be pleased to know, because you can see it's a very, very big agenda. And therefore, what I've decided to do as chairman is to move a couple of the items, because we go through a lot of figures and numbers here, and I thought rather we give you the chance to speak on the items on the agenda that you've requested. So items 17 and 16 will be moved forward as soon as we've gone through things like the minutes and before we go to any numbers. So just in case you're getting yourself prepared to speak, it will be earlier rather than later. Thank you. Right, moving on, Chairman's report. I have nothing actually to report.
Question.
I've done that already.
No, but we've got to invite each of them up.
Well, now,
No.
Yes.
but they're not going to speak yet.
Yes.
No, yes.
Yeah, that's at the beginning. Yes.
Okay. Okay.
Sally.
Right.
We have to do Sally. A long night.
It's going to be a long night. Yeah, you're right.
Let's do item 17.
Okay, the speakers we have are Sally McClammon and Amanda Roussel and Sam Cooper, reference from DM Wilbury.
So, yeah, I think if you're taking 17 before
Yes.
16, I would suggest you'd start with Sally.
So, Sally McClaren, please.
Do you want to,
And suspend standing orders.
Right. So, and we will now suspend standing orders.
Good evening. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to speak. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to speak this evening. My name is Sally and I live at 21 York Close. I'd like to speak about item 17 on the agenda, the proposal for SPC to buy the land with the land registry number WSX 99391 and land title Land to the west of Reeds Lane and east of the Gill. My house backs directly onto this small area of land that SPC are proposing to buy, and I use the public right-of-way which runs the length of the land. We've lived in our home since it was built 37 years ago, and until this year we have had no direct dealings with SPC. However, this last year has been extremely stressful and upsetting for us and our neighbours with the proposed plan to build a 3G pitch just 15 metres from our property. We now hear that the Gill will be appealing the decision to deny planning permission for the 3G pitch, even though there is widespread opposition in the village. At the same time, SPC are proposing to purchase this small strip of land, and this seems more than just a coincidence. We are concerned that should SPC purchase this additional land, you will make it available to the Gill or develop it yourselves. Please can you explain why now, after all these years, you are proposing to purchase this land? Please can you assure me that this land will not be developed, nor will it be handed over to the Gill to manage? Can you also guarantee that you will not seek permission from West Sussex County Council to divert or extinguish the public right-of-way? It is a great concern that several members of this committee are also trustees of the Gill, and therefore those people may struggle with the conflict between these two roles. SPC have stated that their only interest in acquiring this land is to ensure its long-term local stewardship and to protect the continued public access. They also state that ownership of such land is best placed with a local authority rather than an individual or company who are incentivized by profit. It's therefore worth noting that the Gill states that it is a commercial operation which operates as a small business. Therefore, by your own admission, they would not be a suitable organisation to be responsible for this piece of land. I'm sure you can understand residents' concern over this matter, given SPC's appalling record recently regarding openness and honesty with residents and the apparent contempt for our feelings and concerns about the future of our public open spaces. You may also understand our concern over SPC's suitability to maintain this land properly, given your actions cutting back hedgerows and trees surrounding the Gill Field last summer during nesting season without any consultation with the community. The hedgerow that forms a large part of the land you are proposing to buy is full of wildlife. Can we trust the SPC to look after it? I would be interested to hear your comments on the points I've raised. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Sally. I'd like now to invite Amanda Roussel.
Good evening, Chair and Councillors, and thank you for the opportunity to speak this evening. My name is Amanda Roussel, and I live close to the public right-of-way mentioned in item 17, the proposal for SPC to purchase the land registered as WSX 99391, titled Land to the west of Reeds Lane and east of the Gill. Many residents, including myself, are really concerned about this proposal. The land sits right next to the Gill Field, where the Gill CIO are still looking to appeal the refusal for planning of a 3G sports pitch, despite strong local opposition. As we all know, SPC owns the field and licenses it to the Gill CIO. Yet it hasn't so far acted to protect it as a public open space for everyone and all to enjoy. Over the past year, the actions of both SPC and the Gill CIO have sadly led to a loss of public trust. More and more people feel that decisions are being made without enough transparency and that local voices aren't really being heard. At the moment, there's a lot of speculation around the village about what this land purchase is really for and how it might be linked to the Gill site. That uncertainty is causing frustration and mistrust. I think we can all agree that a clear and open communication from SPC would make a big difference. Simply explaining what's being considered and what isn't would help ease concerns and start rebuilding the confidence in the council. There's also an important issue of fairness and accountability, because as we know, 3 SPC councillors serve as trustees of the Gill CIO and the same organisation that could potentially benefit from the purchase. It's important for the community to see that any potential conflicts of interest are being handled openly and properly. So tonight, I'm asking SPC to be clear about its intentions for the land, to declare all relevant interests, and to give firm reassurance that the land will not be passed to or used by the Gill CIO, and that the public right-of-way will remain fully protected for community use. Doing so would show some real transparency and would be a helpful tool to rebuild some of the trust that's been lost. Thank you.
Thank you, Amanda. Well, I have all myself taken the time to walk the path that you are talking about with the executive officer. So I'm fully aware of where you are talking about, and I will ask the executive officer to actually answer some of your queries.
Yeah, happy to do so now, and I'm sure we'll cover it in more detail as well when we get to item 17. So in terms of assurances, so the reasons why this has actually come up now and it hasn't been looked at previously is the owner of the land had contacted the council in relation to whether the council would be willing to purchase it. They were surprised to understand that they owned it after being contacted by a resident in the local area. Typically, to provide some background information, across Southwater, where various developments have been built, there will be typically strips of land that get retained by the developer that puts the site together. Now, these strips of land will sometimes or typically would be passed on to the county council as the authority, or the district council, or in some cases the parish council. Southwater Parish Council actually owns quite a lot of land in Southwater, quite a few random strips which can all be observed on our website on our land register list. In this instance, the developer was surprised they still retained it. They've offered it to the council for £1, subject to the council covering the conveyancing fees, so their solicitor costs. Just to be clear, the parish council is not seeking to alter, close, divert or extinguish a public right-of-way. In fact, it has no power at all to do so. It cannot close or extinguish a public right-of-way, contrary to some of the misinformation that's been circulating. The only interest that the parish council has in acquiring this land is to ensure long-term stewardship and to protect the continued public access along the legally designated route. Ownership of such land is best placed with a local authority rather than an individual or company. And at the moment, it's owned by a company that is incentivised by profit. They realise that it's best suited to a public authority. As far as I understand, West Sussex County Council have no interest in acquiring it. As we've seen across Southwater, West Sussex are actually selling off plots of land. One plot of land was at our planning committee the other day where there was an application put forward for a dwelling in Woodlands Way. Whilst there is an element of trust required, which I appreciate might be quite difficult for some of the residents living in that vicinity right now, I have been informed by the owner of the land that an individual has approached them to purchase it. And I think whilst there might be some mistrust, I don't think it is in anyone's best interest for an individual to own that strip of land versus a public authority which can be held accountable. Now, in terms of the value of the actual land, there is a public right-of-way that goes across it, which I've explained can't be extinguished, or it could be diverted, but that would be very difficult to do so. The utility of it is minimal. Actually, there's some liability which I'll cover with the committee later, so there will be costs to it. Having had a walk down it with the chairman of this committee, just a rough count, we've counted a couple trees at the north end. Without taking a topographical study, we're not sure as to exactly whose boundary they lie on, whether the council's boundary or the boundary within the land being considered tonight. And there are a group of trees to the southern end and possibly a very large, a mature tree down the southern end. So if an individual took this on, whilst West Sussex are responsible for maintaining the public right-of-way and keeping the route clear, the trees on that route, unless they impede access, will come under the responsibility of the landowner. So whilst an individual might think it's a good idea to take on the land at this point of time, I think if major tree works are required, I think that could be problematic, whereas parish council, district council, or county council is best placed because we have budgets that can deal with open space and woodland and trees. So I think, just to reiterate the point for meeting minutes, and I'll cover this again when we get to the item, the public right-of-way is legally recorded on the definitive map of public rights-of-way, and that's maintained by West Sussex. All public rights-of-way, once they are legally recorded, the maintenance of them is responsible. It's West Sussex who's responsible, and they'll continue to be responsible for the indefinite future. And the parish council has no legal power to extinguish or divert the public right-of-way. Only the county council can do that. So really, why has it come up today? A set of circumstances where they have been contacted and then have been in touch with us as a parish council, and we're looking at it because this committee this evening can make a decision not to take it on, but I think if we look at this pragmatically and prudently, I think that puts concerns. I think there's a greater risk of it not being taken on, but that's for the committee to decide.
Thank you, Justin.
Chairman, just as some background information, the piece of land was originally offered to the Gill when we submitted a planning application, and we referred it to the parish council for them to consider because we had no interest in the land.
Thank you, Councillor Watkins. Shall I ask the other speaker to come up?
Yes.
Yeah. Can I ask, please, if Mr. Sam Cooper is here? Sam, would you like to come up and join us? And Sam's here. This is now item 16 on the agenda, which is about the first floor up here, Beeson House, Youth Club area, and you've asked to speak. Thank you.
Good evening, everybody, and thank you very much for allowing me to speak tonight. Southwater as a village is blessed with many fantastic clubs, groups, voluntary organisations, but what we're missing at the moment is a thriving small business community. Now, before COVID, there was a business networking group that met once a month upstairs at Lintott, and it was how I started my small business, which has now grown into what it is today. Since COVID, there have been no such things in the village. So what I'd like to propose, and is to be discussed under item number 16, is the creation of the Southwater Business Hub in the room just across us in the corridor. Now, the Southwater Business Hub under this proposal would feature up to 20 desks suitable for co-working and hot desking, plus a few small breakout rooms. Now, not only would this be perfect for people who are hot desking and co-working, this would be the perfect place for small businesses who are flourishing or in their fledgling stage to meet like-minded individuals in the community, to network with those around them. Not only would it be a perfect place for hot desking, I'll be seeking to run weekly networking sessions across the morning, lunchtimes and evenings to cater for all working schedules. I look to create a mentoring scheme between local business people and the schools and colleges in the area, and also run employability and business skills workshops to not only help those who run their small businesses, but people who might be out of work at the moment looking to upskill themselves or look for inspiration for future career paths. Now, I myself have run businesses for over five years now. I'm well placed within the community to get this up and running. I'd be looking to work closely with the parish council and all local businesses to get this up and running. I'd be looking to run this as a long-term venture, not only as a profitable business, but also as a community asset to help other people in the local community who are running their own businesses, working for large organisations, looking to cut down on their commute, and also those looking to get into business in the local community. Thank you very much, and I look forward to hearing the discussion. Thank you.
Sam, thank you very much. Well, that is the end of our public speaking session. We will revert back to the other agenda, normal agenda. As far as the members of the public, you're very welcome to stay. It will be some time until we actually debate your item, because as you can see from the agenda, they're at the back end of that. But you are very welcome to stay and listen. Yes. Yes. Right, okay.
So reinstate standing orders.
We will now reinstate standing orders.
Chairman's report.
Right, so Chairman's report, item 4.
Did you want to cover that?
Yes. The only item I wanted to discuss a little bit of an update on devolution. Devolution and the Local Government Reorganisation Survey, an information booklet to be distributed to Southwater households and published on the website. Some of you may have already received that. All residents encouraged to complete and provide their views, results to be considered by the Devolution and Local Government Reorganisation Working Group. Thank you. Item 5, Executive Officers Report.
So just a few updates. Budget setting process for financial year 26-27. So production forecasts and projections for 2026 to 27 have commenced work, and an initial draft will be produced by myself and the Senior Accounts Administrator. Budget workshops will be scheduled for November or December and ahead of the next F&GP committee meeting of 17th December, where a budget will be presented with final approval of the budget scheduled for the full council meeting of 21st of January 2026. We had our interim internal audit report on the 8th of October, and the report was circulated to all councillors on the 9th of October by email. The following considerations as suggested and or actions were required by the auditor. One was to consider increasing the delegated expenditure powers within approved budget of executive officer to be commensurate with the council this size and experience of the executive officer RFO, and ensure the IT policy is adopted prior to year end, which is to be discussed at the meeting tonight, which forms part of the new assertion 10 in the annual governance and accountability return. So these recommendations and or actions will be considered implemented accordingly, and I'll look at amended financial regulations to be presented to the next full council meeting. Our aged debtors, just to inform the committee members that a confidential report will be produced for consideration at the next F&GP meeting. This item will be need to consider in confidential session due to the sensitivity of it. In-house finance training. So I'm currently working on a framework of in-house training with the Assistant Executive Officer. We've been rolling out the new induction training for councillors. We've got a social media training thing that our Community Engagement Officer is working on providing, and then I will be doing an internal finance training session tailored to the specifics of finances for this council, for not just the newly co-opted councillors, but also all councillors. Once I've got a bit more work on that, any members just contact me if you're interested. Grass cutting grounds maintenance contract. So this invitation to tender documentation for the new maintenance contract and grass cutting for the period of 1st of April 2026 to 31st of March 2029 has been published via the Government Public Works Contracts website at the start of October and will run till the end of October, so 31st of October. It's on our website for contractors and anyone else interested. That concludes my report.
Thank you. Moving on to item number 6, correspondence, please.
So Regarding item 17, I have already covered this, but just for correspondence minutes, have been made aware from correspondence that an individual has made an approach to the owner of the site west of Reeds Lane, east of the Gill, to acquire the land. And HDC have confirmed additional SIL receipts to be received of £65,958.64, made up of two amounts of £32,979.32, and that relates to the Roundstone development reference DC 240541. Final bit of correspondence which came in this evening. Horsham District Council have contacted us about the parish cleansing grant that we receive each year. They've said that as part of the budgetary process, the District Council is undertaking a review of expenditure to ensure optimal value for money for taxpayers. In light of the forthcoming local government reorganisation and devolution, our commitment to facilitating a smooth transition, we are currently evaluating a number of grants provided by the Council. Accordingly, I'm writing to request a breakdown of how the parish cleansing grant is utilised. Ask for details, so that's something I'll be doing with my colleague. But I think the point of interest here is the last bit of the email. This information will assist us in determining the future allocation of grants over the next 2 years in preparation for local government reorganisation. So it's just something we need to be mindful of in budgeting and whether Horsham will be making any cuts.
Thank you. Moving on now to item 7, the minutes of our last meeting. Basically, it was held on the 18th of June, and the minutes have already been approved at the last full council meeting, which was on the 16th of July. Moving on to 7/2, any matters arising, councillors, from those minutes, please? No matters arising? Thank you. Moving on to number 8, accounts.
Item 17, you're going to bring that forward.
Yes. So should we do that now? We'll all discuss this. Okay. All right. Okay, we're going to now move back to item 17, which is obviously two persons have spoken about. We're now going to open it up to the floor, and obviously we're going to just discuss that in a bit more detail. Justin, do you want to kick that off?
Yes, so you've all received a copy of the report in the pack, the briefing note, sorry, and copy of the summary of title and the title plan. So I think we've covered this in some discussion following the both residents that came to speak on the item. The explanation I provided still holds true, holds the same. I think this, I think it comes down to really whether the council wishes to take this on. It does come with some liabilities, so there are some trees, so there is going to be a cost outside of this report. So the report confirms that the transfer price and fee is £1, and the fees payable to cover Marworth solicitors' costs is £1,250 plus VAT. Some of the transfer forms, if the council or the committee resolves to approve the acquisition of this land, I will try and handle as much in-house, but there will be some legal costs on our side as well. Ongoing responsibilities, so West Sussex County Council continue to remain responsible for the maintenance of the public right-of-way. That does not change. And really, the additional exposure to the council will be in relation to some of the trees there. West Sussex will maintain and continue to maintain that route. I think they carry out one cut a year, depending on how many, or depending on the works identified by their public rights-of-way ranger. So that will continue. So I think in the interest of long-term stewardship, it's whether the council wishes to take this on or leave it in the hands of Marworth Limited, which is a subsidiary of the company that owns it, or as advised, that an individual has approached them to purchase it.
Thank you. So, councillors, do you have any questions or suggestions?
Yes, Chairman, I'd just like to open up. I was very concerned that one of the members of the public described that there were people that had contempt for the parish council. That's very worrying, because when that is used, it means that people don't trust what is happening. Now, as a background to this, is that what has triggered this is that the GIL has put forward an application for a 3G pitch. There have been people that quite rightly want to say they object to it, and there are people that are saying they want to continue to be an asset. Now, these sorts of debates happen all the time in local government. What you do have, though, is when you've got people that deliberately spread false information about what is happening to gain an advantage. And that's wrong, because it's sabotaging a correct process. Now, the amount of freedom of information requests and the amount of information that the parish council have had to submit, and with all of that material given out, I think what a lot of people were hoping for is that they would be able to point to some wrongdoing. There have been many complaints about different councillors and about different people in this process, and nothing has been shown to have been acted in anything incorrectly in this.
Can I stop you there, Councillor Moore? I understand where you're coming from, but this isn't particularly relevant to...
And I'll go back now to this piece of land, and the piece of land is actually part, because it's adjacent to it. A lot of people have thought that there must be something going on because why would this happen at the same time? This has happened because the landowner decided that they wanted to offer the land to, and initially it was to the GIL, but of course the GIL could not take it on because they weren't the adjacent landowner, and it made good sense for it to come back to the parish council, for the parish council to consider it. What I think is necessary is to clarify there is nothing underhand, there is no underlying plans or anything to change this. This is purely that we've now been offered this position of taking this land over. It adjoins, and then the land that is currently managed to the GIL, but it's owned by the parish council, and it makes good sense for it to be one part of land and not of a strip. So from my understanding and from what I can see of it, it in effect tidies it up because it adjoins one piece of land, and it prevents strips of land being owned by different owners.
Thank you, Councillor Moore. Councillor Brown.
I think we've obviously heard the words trust, concern from our residents, and I do understand how you feel about that. I think one thing I'd like to know is if we could find out the cost potentially of those tree works, and even if this is a decision is made, it would be good to know that before we go ahead. And I think maybe for the public would feel happier if anybody who is on the guild don't vote for this because their land is adjacent to it. Maybe just a suggestion. And I also think, and you're right, obviously, with a public right-of-way, it's not very easy to move them, but they can be moved. But maybe is there some way that we could put a covenant on this as a legal protection so that we're actually publicly saying that it's not going to be part of the GIL LMA, to sort of make people locally feel more happy. I don't know if that can be done.
I'm not sure about applying a covenant to the land, but there's no reason why, as part of the resolution, the council gives a commitment that it's not transferred or licensed to the CIO.
I think that would help a lot with the trust and the concern comments that have been made.
Yeah, so I think if a resolution is being considered, then I think we can factor those assurances into such resolution. In terms of getting a cost estimate for the trees, when I walked the route with the Chairman, Councillor Pearce, the extent of cost, if we were to arrange an independent tree surveyor, that will also come at a cost. The only concern I have with delaying the decision would be I have had warning from the landowner that they've been contacted about someone else buying it. So I think whilst a resolution would be helpful, I think we could try and look at entering into approval in principle, subject to obtaining those costs, and I'm sure our senior operations officer can arrange that quite quickly.
I think that would be very helpful.
Thank you, Councillor Brown.
Chairman, I would like to support what Councillor Brown has suggested and what the Executive Officer has said about adding that conclusion to a resolution to any approval. Can we guarantee public access? I think that is obviously the main concern here. And if that could be guaranteed, I think that would be really helpful. Thank you.
Councillor Brown, would you like to make a proposal?
Before you do that, Mr Chairman, could the Executive Officer also look, one cut a year is not enough on that public right-of-way. It gets blocked up quite often. It's clear at the moment. Could we also look at probably an additional cut or getting West Sussex County Council to do additional cuts on it?
So to clarify that point, West Sussex County Council will do, with all due respect, will do the bare minimum. We see this across the whole of Southwater, and kind of also highlighted in the recent survey we did asking for feedback from residents. Most of the comments in there didn't actually relate to Southwater Parish Council owned land. It was nearly always the highways or the verges, which is responsibility of West Sussex and Highways. In response to doing more than one cut, the cuts that West Sussex will do probably will be limited to one cut per year. But if the council did take this on board, then we could certainly look at doing ad hoc cuts to ensure that the route is improved. I think taking a walk with Chairman Councillor Pearce earlier this week, it's evident that West Sussex have done some work, which I think was done after we'd written to them numerous times. But the work that's been done there, I think there could be additional works to improve the route. So in answer to your question, yes. And whilst we have actually just issued our grounds maintenance contract tender, we can either add that on or we can just arrange ad hoc works as part of our woodland and public open space budget.
So, Councillor Brown, would you like to put a proposal of, and am I right in interpreting it that you would support the parish council take ownership of it with the actual conditions that you would like
Yes,
inserted?
subject to it not being part of the GIL LMA, and it wouldn't be. We have no, we wouldn't be looking to future redirect it, and it will always be open to the public.
Yeah. So just to clarify the proposal of Councillor Brown, so to move forward with the proposition to acquire the land as per the title number WSX 99391 to cover the costs of conveyancing payable to the landowner and the transfer price of £1, with assurances so contingent on no transfer or license to the CIO and to retain public access in perpetuity.
Mr. Chairman, I second that.
Yes, you second it. Those in favour?
1, 2, 3, 4.
Unanimous.
What about yourself?
Yes, yes, yeah.
Unanimous.
Unanimous? No abstentions, none against. Thank you.
Just to clarify for the meeting minutes, there will be some legal costs our side, and to clarify, we'll obtain cost estimates of tree works required.
I must say, it is very confusing, the name of that area. It took me a long time to work out exactly where it was, because, you know, Reed's Lane and, well, you know, it's not anywhere near. So I can understand how people have got confused.
Crowd base.
Yeah.
Thank you, Council. We will now move back to item 16, which we had a presentation from Sam, and obviously it's on the agenda, and it's with reference to what used to be the youth club, the utilisation of that space. I'm sure you've all read through the documents, and 4 options have been presented. And I'm going to ask actually Julie to go through them because you put the document together. Thank you.
Thank you. The council is being asked to consider approving an option that delivers the greatest long-term value for the Southwater community and aligns with the parish council's community-focused mission. The option selected will be the one which is the most effectively provides an area that has high community utility and flexibility for multiple user groups, whilst also reinvesting in the local community. Now, the room has been refurbished, and as of today, it is accessible. So I wanted to give every councillor the opportunity to go and look at that space before we move into discussion. So if we could pause the meeting for councillors to view the area, would that be acceptable, Chairman?
Yes, I agree. Let's suspend standing orders and let's go and have a look.
You've got keys.
It's open. Yeah, I have got the keys, but it is open.
Is the floor dry?
Yes. I just need to turn the lights on.
Julie, if you escort them, I'll stay here.
Okay, thank you. I'm going to reinstate standing orders now, and we'll get back to the meeting. So now councillors, thank you for having a look round. You've seen there's 4 different proposals. Let's open the floor up. Let's have some input, please.
I think the only thing that with the option 1, and great idea, great for the community. Actually, have we got anyone who's interested in it? Is there any interest? Is there really, will we actually better sell this space? I know there's the library talk because we have got some money set aside for that. But I think that's, would it end up being that it sits there empty a lot of the time? Is there anyone going to want to really use it, etc.?
I can confirm we already have someone booked in to use it. They've been currently using the back half of the chambers because that's all I had to offer them. But after half term, they're booked in 3 days a week. That's West Sussex County Council's adult learning. They're offering a lot of children workshop sessions, sessions for SEN, under 5s, Key Stage 1 workshops for children as well, and they want to expand their offering. So that they are open to working with us to provide more facilities. We have also had Horsham Amateur Dramatics come and look at that space. As you're probably aware that they've been asked to vacate their premises. They are struggling to find a suitable solution, but they think that place is ideal, admittedly as an interim measure because they need storage and we can't offer that. But they would be interested in using that space for rehearsals as well. The community officer is also in discussions with some various charity groups that want to offer more facilities for the elderly in Southwater, and meetings will happen to see whether they could utilise that space as well.
And what was the option? The library wanting to use the space as well? Wasn't there a...
Yeah, so the one thing that the library can't do is offer as many workshops as Horsham does because they don't have the space for it. If they had access to that area on designated days, times, they would be able to offer the additional workshops that they can't do at the moment.
And there is a demand for that, isn't there?
There is. Option 1, if the library does take some of that space and we can get agreement with the libraries, then there is over £90,000 of unspent S106 monies dedicated to Southwater Library floor space that we could use to utilise to make the necessary changes to that area. There is also the potential, there's another 3,700, we've got a little bit of time for that, and a potential further 32,000 for the provision of client service infrastructure at Southwater Library.
Well, Julie, I'd like to thank you for all the work you put into this. I mean, I think a little while ago we were all wondering about what we could do with this space, and it seems that in a very short space of time you've really, put some plans together, and we do have some very viable options here. Out of the options that have been outlined, do you have a preferred option?
I do have a preferred option, but it's not my decision to make, so I would
Yes.
like the councillors to propose an option.
Okay.
Mr. Chairman, can I ask whether or not the section 106 have actually been checked for the legal agreements to make sure it can be used by the library for the purposes in general? Because the section 106 that I read was for additional floor space.
I think the basis on which the proposal forms, once an option's been chosen, or the basis of it and how it could look, and the utility that the library would get, we would need to seek clarity from the planning obligations officer at HTC if it's compliant. once we've got a scheme together.
Yeah, and ongoing costs as well, that can't come out of section 106, is they'll have to provide the running costs out of the library provision provided by West Sussex County Council. That's a concern to me that they may not, although it may look good on paper at the moment, that it may not come to fruition, because obviously we know the restrictions that are going to go on with West Sussex County Council and the Unitary Authority. We do need some form of guarantees before we make a proposal that this money is available and could be available. Also, some of those Section 106s run out quite soon, don't they?
Would anyone else like to speak? Any more questions?
Chairman, I'm happy to propose option 1, subject to the Section 106 agreement being agreed.
Would it not be better to defer and delegate to the council officers to make sure that it can be adhered to before we set the proposals down? And if they can't be, then bring it back.
We could delegate it for approval, subject to checking the Section 106 if you prefer. Does that work?
Is this being proposed on the basis that this proposal will not be moved forward as it's contingent on 106 funding, or would the council like to proceed? So just for clarity, if the Section 106 funding cannot be used to aid the cost of making the adjustments to the room, what is the alternative?
Have to come back to council for reconsideration.
However, the library want to use it, whether we can use that capital or not, if the library want to use it, would they be able to pay the cost for the use of it? Or are you just relying on because isn't the S106 for capital works?
Yeah, so the Section 106 is for capital work, so improvements to the room to accommodate the library. But as I understand from the Assistant Executive Officer, there are already users not associated with the library that want use of the room. So I think my only concern, the proposal needs to be worded carefully to ensure that we're not preventing the use of the room.
I'm happy for you to reword it.
We could end up with a combination of 1 and 2, couldn't we? Options 1 and options 2.
I think my other concerns are devolution, and we don't know what's happening with library services within Southwater, whether we're going to have a library provision after devolution. It's so open at the moment that it would be difficult to make a decision.
I think we need to make a decision, Chairman, regardless of that, because we don't know what it's going to take a couple of years before we know. We can't just sit back and leave it empty.
I agree. I think we do need to make a decision, but obviously I think we need to be very careful with the wording of our proposal.
Yes. From Chairman, the view of moving things into unitary is that all the existing contracts and agreements will be continued. They're not going to review each one at the point of changing into unitary authority. So if permission or if agreement can be sought from West Sussex County Council, the probability is that it will continue. For how long, because there will be get-out clauses in it as well, we can't guess. But we've got to do something. Yeah.
Yes, and I would have thought that if it works, appears to work, it's going to be very difficult for somebody to stop it.
Yes.
We know it's not impossible, but yeah.
I should point out, in terms of funding availability, so the council still holds, after the improvements that have just been carried out to get the room back up to scratch, there will be circa £8,000 left in our Beeson House internal alterations budget. So whilst it would be excellent to be able to utilise the Section 106, there is still funding available for any alterations that are required.
Thank you for that. So, Councillor Vickers, would you like to propose?
We go for option 1 and investigate the section 106 as part of the ongoing process for this.
Yep.
Thank you.
Can I have a seconder for that, please?
That's to delegate the responsibility for sorting that out to the...
Yes.
Delegated to the executive officer or the assistant executive officer.
Thank you. Can I have a seconder for that? Those in favour? Those against? Any abstentions? One abstention. Motion carried. Yes. Thank you very much for attending, Councillor Vickers. Thank you. Okay, it's getting back to the on track with the agenda. Getting back to item 7 minutes very quickly. They've actually been already approved, and there were no matters arising. So moving to number 8, accounts. Let's start with aged debtors. Just to note, the sales ledger list as of the 30th of September. Anybody have any queries with regards to the aged debtors? No, thank you. Point 2. Bank reconciliation. We need to approve the bank reconciliation of the 31st of August and the 30th of September.
I can confirm Councillor Brown, as a non-signatory, has verified the bank reconciliation against statements and petty cash in accordance with the finance regs.
Thank you, Councillor Brown. So can I have a proposer, please? Councillor Moore proposes. Seconder, please. Councillor Knott. Those in favour? All in favour. Item 3, moving on to the balance sheet and earmark reserves of the 31st of August and the 30th of September to approve those figures. Can I have a proposer, please?
Yes,
Councillor Moore again, seconded by Councillor Knott. All those in favour? Thank you. Item 4 under item 8, a detailed income and expenditure of the 31st of August and 30th of September to approve what's been outlined in that pack. Do I have a proposer? Councillor Knott. Seconder, please. Councillor Watkins. Those in favour?
Unanimous.
Unanimous. Moving on to item 9. There's a detailed payment schedule in your pack, and we need to approve this schedule as of the 15th of October for the total amount of £77,884.19. Can I have a proposer, please? Councillor Knott, seconder. Councillor Moore. Those in favour? All in favour? Unanimous. Thank you. We now move on to item 10, which is budget review, and I'll hand over to Justin.
In the interests of time, a full copy of the report is in the pack and also in the public pack. If happy to take contents as noted, unless there's any questions, of course.
Any questions? Thank you. Item 11, bank accounts. Obviously, there's detailed in our pack on page 35. Any questions on the bank accounts? No? Thank you. Item number 12, investments and savings in accordance with our investment policy. And basically, it's our Flagstone platform report on page 36. Anybody have any questions on the Flagstone report?
Just to update, to take contents of report as noted, but since the report was circulated, in accordance with the Council's investment policy, 3 new accounts have been opened on the Flagstone platform. Standard Chartered Bank on a 9-month fixed term of £75,000 at AER of 3.94%. Nationwide 12 months fixed term, 100,000 at AER of 3.77%. And then an instant access account with Oak North, £85,000, 3.65%. Further updates will be in future reports.
Thank you. Moving on to item 13, additional earmark reserve provisions for budget 25-26. To receive a briefing note and consider approving recommendations from the Executive Officer to increase EMR provision for training and development and consultancy budgets. Justin.
So you've all received a copy of the report. I think since circulating this, I'm not sure if the provision in consultancy is sufficient, but I think for now, depending on activities at the planning committee, I'll report back accordingly. But I do believe that we will expect to see many more speculative development applications over the next several months between now and the end of the financial year. Whilst I think the provision will be sufficient for now, there's a chance that this will have another item on a future committee meeting to add more. And when we come to setting the budget for the next financial year, I think we need to be mindful of what we provide in the budget. So I think for now, keep the report as circulated, and the two recommendations are to add 1,500 to the training and development earmark reserve for use in this current financial year, and then also to add £2,000 to the consultancy budget as well. There's a draft resolution in the report for ease as well.
Thank you, Justin. Anybody have any questions or? Yeah. Those in favour? Unanimous. Thank you. We now move on to item number 14. It's quite a detailed operational report. A lot of it is regarding repairs to play areas, etc. And some good pictures in the pack. Anybody have any questions regarding the operational report? Do you have any comments to make, Justin? No?
Just I think if there are no questions, then I think we take the contents as noted.
Thank you. Moving on to item number 15, grant applications. We have 3 applications, one from the supporters of Castlewood School, one from Foresight Vision, and one from Jubilee HQ for Scouts and Guides. There's a lot of detail in the pack with regards to each one of these. One of them we have, I think, before funded in 2023. The pack from the Foresight Vision is huge amount of detail in there, which takes up nearly 40 pages of the pack. Let's start with the supporters of Castlewood School. Does anyone have any questions or queries that they've read through that anyone?
Sorry, first of all, can we know how much is left in the budget and how?
There is £2,950 available of funding for community grants in accordance with our grant policy.
And they are seeking quite a bit of funding from, and they already have some from others. So, do we feel that we should be considering this positively?
To be honest, we know the school, we know what good work they do. I mean, looking at our budget, we don't have a lot left. I would like to maybe say we offer them half of the amount.
I think we do know that money will be spent for the benefit of the inhabitants of Southwater, won't we? And
Absolutely.
shall we look at the other names as well while we're going, and then perhaps come to a conclusion? Because Foresight Vision we see regularly in this. And it's very difficult, there's an awful lot to read, and it's very difficult to see how much actually comes into Southwater. I'm sure something does, but a little bit more reluctant.
Mr. Chairman, Councillor.
Councillor Knott.
The only thing I was going to say was, I think, if I'm right, in the past, when we've had proposals where there's a lot more money is needed in order for the project to go ahead, I believe we've actually said we would grant it on the provision that they were able to get all the rest of the funding. So maybe that's something we could do for Castlewood, just because it's quite a large project and they say that haven't got all the funding at the minute. That was just a suggestion.
So, Councillor Brown, you're proposing £500 for the first one, which is Castlewood School.
Mr. Chairman, I still have to declare an interest on all these ones because I do actually deal with some of the charities. So.
Any other comments?
I'm
glad you
we
said that.
really should be doing more for the scouts
Yes, I mean,
in terms of providing.
Replacing that fire door, I mean,
accommodation.
it's shocking, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah.
It's been allowed to get like that.
Mr. Chairman, if I may, Councillor Watkins, as you have declared interests in this item and which
All of them I actually
All
do,
three.
So, yeah, so
And-
I'll stay out of any conversations.
as no dispensation has been requested, I think in view of the code of conduct, I would request you think about leaving the room.
Is it the last item?
No, we've got
Many policy.
some policies to consider. Thank you.
Councillor Cole, you have some.
I was just thinking that the scouts, I think we frequently get requests for the scouts, but they're fairly modest usually, and I think we ought to be trying to do more for them on a wider scale, larger scale, by way of getting buildings and so on.
Do we have anything in any other budget that, like SIL money, for example, could we use for the scouts? Because this is, just looking at the state of that door is awful. And if it means that we can get a young person be able to get access into there with their wheelchair, I think if there's anything we can do, I'd like to see us pay for the whole of that. But could we? Could SIL be allocated just?
For replacement of doors and maintenance, still can't be used. Typically, Section 106 cannot be used unless it specifically states for maintenance, but typically it will say something like improvements, which you could loosely use. But in this case, there is no Section 106 relevant, and SIL would be hard push. I don't think it meets the criteria. The Adventure Fitness trim trail could potentially meet that criteria in the Castlewood, but then I'd have to look into the technicalities of using SIL. I think the parish council would need to be the one undertaking the work, so we couldn't give a grant. We couldn't just hand the SIL to them, unfortunately.
Yes, it's not a grant money. It's money there to do a project, to complete a project.
Yeah.
But I do think there is potential there if the school and the scouts realise the parameters of what the SIL money can be used. Possibly, if when they're undertaking that sort of work or considering those things, they may be able to sort of fit in or ask us to take over that work for it to go.
Again, I'm not
Yeah.
promising that we can do this.
No.
I'd have to actually check because I think there's some complexities when I've looked into this previously with the village hall and how parish council
Yes.
can step in.
But
I think to use SIL would be hard push, would be very difficult. I think what I will do is just point attention to our grant policy. So whilst the grant budget this year, what's remaining is £1,000 and we have another circa £2,000 in our earmark reserve, which gives you a total of 3,000. You do have the ability to make recommendations for full council to approve grants in excess of that. If you see a worthy cause, then it's something that this committee can put a recommendation to full council for. But I'm not suggesting that is what we're doing here, just pointing out
We've got to
what's in our policy.
We've got to be satisfied that it fits within the policy, and the policy is there to design to help the people of Southwater.
Yes, okay. Councillor Brown, you proposed £500 for our first candidate, Castlewood School. And I think we're all sympathetic towards, obviously, the Scouts as well. That total amount they're asking is £1,500.
So can we take that to full council to ask for that if we need to, or can we just spend all the money?
There's no reason why this committee can't spend all the money that's allocated.
It's within
Councillor
the
Knott.
committee's,
Yeah,
it's
yeah, I
within
know.
the committee's authority.
And this is our last grant applications for this financial year, isn't it?
Yes, correct. And I should add that the balance we have in earmarked reserves relates to years where we didn't allocate because we didn't get any applications.
Yeah,
And we've held it now for a good couple of years.
so it might be a good
Okay.
idea.
I think it needs.
So I'm going to propose that we give 1,500 to the Scouts and 500 to Castlewood.
So it was an amendment.
Amendment
Technically
to,
an amendment to the proposal.
Councillor
Yeah.
Brown's proposal, but
yes.
If Councillor Brown wants to add the 1,500 to the Scouts on top
Well, I was only doing the first one. I thought we were doing one at a time, you
Yes,
see.
yes.
So
Well,
that's
yeah.
fine.
there doesn't seem to be any support for the eyesight charity.
To be,
I'm not
It's-
there's no
so-
support. I just feel
What-
that we've given money to them in the past.
Mr. Chairman, point of order. Can, for simplicity of the minutes, can we actually do each item separately?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, sure.
Apologies.
So,
So
Yeah, yeah.
okay, so we're proposing £500 for the supporters of Castlewood School. That's by Councillor Brown. Can I have a second,
second.
please?
Second that.
Councillor Moore.
All in
All those in
All
favour?
in favour, yeah.
All in favour. 15B is foresight vision.
When did we last give them some money?
So just to confirm, all applicants are in compliance with our policy.
Oh,
So
in terms
you
of-
can apply every year.
Missing years, yes, or whatever.
Would I be right in thinking that there isn't any support for foresight vision on this occasion for a grant?
Possibly a little unfair, but
I should point out that they attended the annual parish meeting where they gave a speech
Oh, dear.
on how helpful the grant was previously. And in the pack, there is a thank you letter from them, and the grant does directly support Southwater residents with
Does it?
impaired
Yeah.
sight.
how much are they looking for?
£510.
However, they do have a very healthy balance sheet. And these are for specific projects that.
Will we could defer to next year?
On the other
It
hand,
has to be, it's an application for this current financial year. So
yeah. On the other hand, because it's,
if I,
should we be,
I've got the,
God, they get some, oh, Basil Shipham. Yeah. Shipham's paste.
So the last grant given by the parish council was in 2023, and it was a grant of £350. Nothing was given in our last financial year, 24-25.
So that fits, doesn't it? And what are they asking for, did we say?
£510, which would benefit six of the 48 clients they currently support in Southwater for 12 months.
Have some support?
Well,
How about we support half of it? No, half of this one.
Yeah, I don't see any particular reason why we shouldn't
Well, they-
spend most of it anyway.
They meet the grant criteria. So
Yeah.
I think on that basis, if we go, as you say, half or £250 as a round amount.
Is that a proposal?
Yes.
Yes. So I propose that we make a payment of, we provide a grant of £250 for.
Thank you, Councillor Moore. Can I have someone to second that,
Foresight.
please? Councillor Knott? Thank you. Those in favour? Carries. Thank you, unanimous.
Have we voted for all three of now?
So
Oh, scouts.
there was a proposal from Councillor Knott on
Yes.
item 3 of item
The Scouts? Yes? Your proposal is for the full 1,500? Yes? Seconder,
I'll
Councillor Moore?
second that.
Those in favour?
Yeah.
Unanimous. Thank you.
It doesn't leave much in the pot, but why leave money in the pot?
Anyway, before the next budget, isn't it?
Yeah, why? Why not?
And as Justin said, quite a lot of that, the earmark reserves are stuff we've carried over from previous years, so
Yeah, oh yes, it's always part of the.
it's quite nice to actually spend it all rather than having it sitting there and,
In
you know, at least
fact,
it's going to good places.
Even worse than that, in a way, the £1,000 limit, original allowance in the budget, was lower than it normally is, merely because we had some in the pot. Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Item 18.
Right.
We've done item 16 and item 17. So we now will move on to item 18, which is around cyber security. There's details of this in your pack between page 136 and 144. It's quite a comprehensive report. Justin, is it yourself or Julie's going to go?
Yeah, myself. I think you've all received a copy of the report. I think in summary, we are now accredited with Cyber Essentials certification. In short, Councillor Watkins queried with me whether we had cyber security cover. When I contacted Zurich, they confirmed that we do not, and Zurich no longer provide it as an add-on or part of our policy. They are currently working with some partner companies, but nothing's in situ at the moment. So I contacted Octatech for their guidance, and I did some research. And Cyber Essentials accreditation is a government-backed scheme, and it provides us £25,000 of indemnity against cyber attacks. So yeah, everything's in the report. It's really just for noting, so that we now have cover, and this will be an annual cost in terms of the accreditation fee to provide cover.
Thank you. Any questions on that item? Thank you. Moving on to item number 19. We have an IT policy which needs to be approved. I hope councillors have had time to read this. Any questions?
What I will add is this policy is loosely based off, it's based off the NAUC IT policy and the policy being circulated by the Joint Panel on Accountability of Governance Panel in the Practitioner's Guide. And then it's been tailored to how we do things at this parish council. So, and it is now required. So in this current financial year, all parish and town councils will be tested for something called assertion 10 in the AGAR, in the Annual Governance Accountability Return, which requires us to have .gov.uk emails, only use .gov.uk emails, which this council's been doing for a long time, amongst other things. So all of that is covered in the IT policy, amongst other things, and then some of the other items on this agenda cover the other bits we need to comply with this new assertion 10 that's been rolled out across the country.
So thank you. So we need to vote on this if we're happy with the policy. I'm sure you've all read it in detail. Bit of bedtime reading. Could I have a proposer, please? Councillor Knott's proposer, seconded Councillor Moore. All those in favour?
Yeah.
Unanimous.
Unanimous. Thank you. Moving on to item 20. Similar, this is a new data protection policy that's been changed. And now I think the items are marked in red in the pack.
Yes. The track
Again,
changes.
hopefully you've all read this. Any questions on it before we vote? No, thank you.
Pretty straightforward.
Can I have then a proposer to approve this?
Was that Councillor Cole?
Yeah.
Councillor
Proposed by Councillor Cole, seconded
second
by
it, yes.
Councillor Moore. Those in favour? Unanimous, thank you. Next item, number 21, is a data and information register to receive and consider approving. Did you want to say
So
that?
just to introduce it, this is another requirement for session 10. So we have to document and do a data and information register on all the data that we hold as council, the purpose of processing, the data subjects, data collected, the lawful basis on which we hold it, location, storage, retention period, who has access and the security around it, who's responsible officer, and then in the register you'll see in the pack there's also some notes in there as well. This is the first document of its kind for this council, so far as I understand. Whilst we do have a document retentions policy, this being the first item, I think wanted it approved by the committee, and then going forward, it will be reviewed annually, which I'll try and incorporate into one report, which will be presented to council, so that when it gets to year end, the council can tick the assertion box that it's covered all of the assertions in the JPEG, which is inclusive of having an IT policy, gov.uk emails, data information register, data protection policy, and all the other bits. Yeah. To be honest, I haven't looked what other councils are doing yet, so.
Thank you, Justin. Can I have a proposer to approve this document, please? Councillor Knott, seconded by Councillor Moore. Those in favour? Unanimous. We also, in the pack now, item 22, have an accessibility statement, which is for noting. Again, I'm sure you read this. Does anybody have any questions with regards to this statement?
So just to add, this has already been previously approved by the council. Again, this forms part of assertion 10. Just wanted it noted at F&GP meeting. We re-reviewed the accessibility of our website, and this accessibility statement basically provides details on accessibility of our website. So we've run the tests, or my colleague has run the tests using the Wave tool. So that's all documented in this statement. So I think, yeah, it's really for noting and yeah.
Thank you. Item number 23. Yes, it's that time again. Festive Christmas lights for Lintott Square. Basically, we have two failed motifs, and the options are to repair them, to dispose of the two, or to replace them. And obviously, there's a cost in the pack of how much this will cost. Now, it's not far away. So does anyone have any questions?
I do.
Councillor Knott.
Did we not discuss, or did we discuss something different about Christmas lights? Because I'm sure we've discussed something and we voted for something on Christmas lights. I'm assuming it wasn't those, it was something else.
We've got lots of Christmas
So
lights.
just housekeeping, first of all, you'll see in the report you've got contractors' names, so we don't have to enter confidential session. Please try and refer to them as contractor A, B, C, D. If anyone needs to speak about the specifics of any of the contractors, which might be positive or negative, then we will need to enter into confidential session. In response to your query, Councillor Knott, we did discuss Christmas or festive lights previously, and that was to replace all of the Christmas lights on the trees in Lintott Square and then also the 3 war memorial trees, but it did not include the motifs which hang off the street lights.
We did replace them on the trees, didn't we?
Yes, yeah, we did.
Because we had to, because the trees are growing.
The existing contractor has done this work for us before. Who would that be?
That would be, well, contractor A, but I mean, it's a public record because we published payments and the contract when it was approved, so that was SparkX. or Sparks. I don't know, SparkX, Sparks.
Anybody have any questions? Councillor Brown, I bet one's coming from you.
How old are the ones we currently? 10 years old. It's really, I mean, you think about energy and everything that's not efficient. And I'm a sucker for Christmas lights, so I'd go contract A and replace them all.
So option 3
Yeah,
with
option
contractor A. I think one. So what was I going to say? The only thing that you may wish to consider, this is somewhat, I wouldn't say rushed, but we've only recently found out that 2 of them aren't working and aren't. And it's whether the committee would like to give more thought to the types of lights and motifs that are put in the square, and do sort of a remedial thing in the interim, or if the designs that are in the report, as per contractor A, if those are acceptable and look good, then by all means, I think option 3 with contractor A makes sense.
Councillor Knott.
So my thoughts were there's a lot of local high streets and stuff are now doing festive lights as opposed to Christmas lights, like celebration lights, sorry, so that they can be requested to go on for certain other religious celebrations, not just Christmas. My view would be to do the repair option and then to look in more detail as to whether we want to actually do a new look of the motives rather than just replace them all now.
Or could we ask the local children to design a motive?
Yes. Do it as a competition.
Sorry, you've started us on Christmas now. It's your fault.
Justin's pulling faces, but I'm just saying, I think bearing in mind we're in October, my view would be to do a repair now so that we can get them running and then have more thought, because it feels like something that, we might want to discuss a bit more detail. That's my proposal.
Was that your proposal?
My proposal, yes.
Does it, do you have any sort of guidance as to the longevity of the existing lights? Because if they all can have another 3 or 4 beaten dead next year, we're probably better off.
I'm not as well informed on this as my colleague, the Senior Operations Officer, who put this report together. But what I am aware of is these motifs are old and quite taxed, and they have had some repairs done to them. So I don't know how long they will.
I think they came via a £10,000 grant, didn't they? About
I don't know.
8-9 years ago.
Yeah, I think so.
From, I think, Tesco's.
I know they were purchased from Blachère Illuminations.
Yeah.
I'm not proposing that we keep these ones forever, that we actually just repair them with a view to replacing them next year, once we've had more thought
Yes.
into a design. That
Well,
was my proposal.
If that's your proposal,
That's my proposal.
Well, Councillor Brown actually kind of gave it a proposal. Did you want to formalise that? What you were that you wanted the whole.
it's only that method allows us to give more thought as to what we finally want to end up with.
Yeah, I'd like the Southwater children to get involved then, if we're going to do so. If we're going to do that, if we're going to go for new lights, maybe next year, can we have the children involved?
We could give them some guidance, Justin, so they don't just create something really random.
I think I would just add some caution here and some pragmacy, because any custom design lighting motifs will be quite expensive. So
Well, let them choose out. If we choose some designs, then they can choose.
Yeah.
yes.
Being Scrooge.
That's his job.
We could come with some options, and then we could ask them to choose, and then at least, and then they could all come for a big party when we turn them on.
Yeah.
Okay, well, we'll focus on a proposal for what's actually in the pack, which is what do we look at? And what you're suggesting, your proposal is to repair.
My proposal is to repair
And-
with a view to replacing them all before next Christmas.
And is this with
I
A?
don't
Well,
know,
for
I'm
council
so
to
basically, to repair with the current to repair with the current contractor A,
Right.
with a view to looking at getting quotes in and replacing for next year once we've had more consideration and thought on it. Long proposal, sorry.
Yeah.
So, okay, yeah.
So can I have a seconder for that, please?
I'll second.
Councillor Moore. All in favour? Carried. Okay, last item number 24. Date of our next meeting, the week before Christmas, 17th of December.
Oh,
Yes, that's,
Christmas hat for you dressing up as Santa.
no. So, thank you very much. Meeting closed at 8:48. Thank you.